Welcome to Animated Discussions. My friends call me Dee, and today we're doing a movie review.
Movies?
So, for those of you who don't know, which would probably be all of you since this is my first episode, hi, welcome. I'm Dee, and I really want to work in television. I kind of do already, which I love, but I want to do more of the creative process. Right now I'm in production, but I want to show run, I want to direct, I want to write, and I realized to do that, I should probably study the craft.
You think?
I don't know a lot about it. I know what I like to see, but I don't know camera angles, terminology, cinematography, costume design, things like that. So I realized I should study more film, especially films that are grandiose. Not necessarily grandiose. More importantly, they move the heart of people. That's really what I want to focus on. So I've decided I'm going to do the top 100 movies.
That's so many.
I found someone on Letterboxd named Brandon Shea. Let me know if I'm saying his name wrong. But he has this page called Real Stats where he's made a list of the top 1001 movies of all time. He's broken them up into sections. So there's the top 100 out of the 1001. And the best thing about it is it's all based on statistics and real ratings and comments from everybody. Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, etc., etc., whatever. What's so cool is you have to have at least 15,000 reviews for this movie for it to even qualify for the list. I am quality. That's all I'm saying is quality.
Oh, I'm so pumped.
The cool thing about his list is it's all encompassing. It's not just from America. There are movies from all over the world. A lot have historical relevance, and that made me so excited. Yes. Any hoozle. In order to get started, though, I thought I needed like a practice episode, like loosen myself up. You guys are intimidating. The whole world's going to be watching this. And if you see any of my other social media handles, I don't have a lot of followers.
There are none.
I don't really like to be perceived. So I'm going to be straight with y'all. This is terrifying.
You got this.
So I thought we'd start with a comfort movie for me, which is my favorite animated movie.
Bowlerhead guy.
Meet the Robinsons. Hot take, I know.
Second hottest.
Everyone always asks why Meet the Robinsons, and you'll find out by the end of this movie. But let's get started.
I'm ready.
So, Meet the Robinsons. For those of you who don't know, Meet the Robinsons stars Lewis, a 12-year-old orphan who was dropped off at the orphanage as a baby. As he grows up, he tries to get adopted, and he's gone through so many adoptions. Well, adoption interviews, let's say it that way. And no one wants to adopt him. Lewis is special because he is a genius and an inventor, which can lead to some
Mr. Harrington has a peanut allergy.
chaotic moments. He gives up because he's realizing he's turning 13 and teenagers don't get adopted. So instead, he decides to build a machine that can scan his brain to look into the past to see what his mom looked like so he can find her so he can get adopted again.
I call it the memory scanner.
Or so she can take him back. Let's just say chaos ensues and the movie is wild. I don't want to spoil too much of the ending. It will be spoiled because I'm doing a review, but I'll try not to go into too much detail. Anyway, this movie is my favorite movie for a myriad of reasons. One, the comedy is wild. It's so silly that it almost breaks rules of comedy, in my opinion. Again, I'm a novice, so I'm still learning, but it cracks me up.
Ryan, I gotta go pee.
There are a few things that I love about this movie that I really want to talk about. And then there are some other things that I'm like, I want your opinion on. So one of the things that I love first is the failing parallels in this movie. It's insane to me because Lewis goes to the science fair. His project explodes, causes an explosion basically, and he is so ready to quit. He's ready to give up. He's ready to quit and stop. And you see throughout the movie how done he is with who he is, what he's able to do. And then we see GOOB, who also fails, partly because of Lewis's fault, because GOOB can't get any sleep.
No, I fell asleep in the 9th inning, and I missed the winning catch. If I hadn't fallen asleep, I would have caught the ball.
And we see what happens to GOOB when he fails.
How many evil villains do you know who can pull off a name like Goob?
Because there's no one there to not let him. It's such a beautiful parallel, story-wise, of what happens when you have support and when you don't. And when I first watched the movie, I thought it was more about what happens when you give up versus when you don't. But it's so important to realize Lewis would have given up if he didn't have that support. Like, he would not have tried to make anything happen again. He just would have given up and tried to get adopted in a different way. But having the support, having Wilbur try to help him is so huge. And I think that's a really important thing. So I love that in the storytelling. Makes me happy. It also makes me feel sad for Goob because you realize he doesn't have a lot of support there either.
Mr. Steak, you're my only friend.
And I think a lot of people are like, well, yeah, Goob just wouldn't listen to anyone. I think there's a difference between like a loving push and then someone being like, hey, just get over it and then walk away. You know what I mean? My favorite scene in the movie is...
Hey, Goob, what's up? Cool binder. Hey, Goob, want to come over to my house today?
They all hated me.
It's such a perception thing. You know what I mean? That perception, the way that we feel we're being perceived as opposed to how we're really being perceived is so dangerous. We can lie to ourselves so well, and we know what we fall for, so our brain convinces us this is the truth, no one loves you. It absolutely wasn't true, you know? But I, like, when I say I relate hard to that scene,
I don't want to talk about it.
it's embarrassing. I'm gonna just be honest, it's embarrassing. Whatever.
I don't care.
Okay, I am not admittedly a time travel girly. I love sci-fi. I'm a Doctor Who girl. I don't fully understand time travel. So what always like breaks my brain in this movie is, if you've watched the movie, you know in the beginning, Lewis's mom drops him off at the orphanage, and then she hears a sound behind her. She puts Lewis down and she scurries away. Well, in the future, past,
Doesn't make sense.
see, this is why I get confused. Toward the end of the movie, Lewis gets to go see his mom in that moment, and you realize he's the reason the foot slipped. And he's the sound. His foot slip is the sound. And then you realize that Lewis knocked on the door, not his mom. And that's how Angela Bassett, Queen, that's the voice of the orphanage leader.
I don't know what to say.
Mother?
I still don't.
That's the name of that character. That's who plays that character.
Nailed it.
She opens the door because Lewis knocked on the door, not his mom. And so it's like, how, because I always believe that there's a beginning, right? There has to be a beginning. So if there's a beginning timeline, how did Lewis get picked up the first time? Because if that's the beginning timeline, there is no Lewis who's 12 years old who built a time, or who's part of a time machine to go back in time. So then, are the other futures changed because of that? I don't understand how this works, and I get so confused, and I know I'm splitting hairs. I know I'm just weeding through the weeds, and it doesn't matter, but it matters to me. Like, I want to know, you know? But I don't know. Anyways, that's such a continuity thing for me. I'm like, oh, it doesn't make sense. It breaks my brain. But I also watch Doctor Who, as I said, and Avengers Endgame. So, can I really judge?
We don't judge. No judging.
I'm not a scientist. Another timeline thing that's so interesting to me is at the end when Doris goes to charge Lewis, and Lewis is like, I am never gonna... What's my line? Another timeline thing that really confuses me is toward the end when Doris goes to charge Lewis, and then Lewis is like, I am never going to invent you. And then she like shakes him. I don't know what that was, but I hope you understand. And turns into like nothingness. I love the idea that a commitment to an idea is enough to change the future. You know what I mean? I always look for really deep meanings in things, and it just seems like you have to go through the action of not actually making Doris instead of just saying it's never going to happen. You know what I mean? Also, I feel like if I was Lewis, I still would have made Doris.
No! I can fix it!
I know, hot take, but part of me would have been like, I could do it different. I could make it better so that Doris doesn't get crazy. You know, I would be a self-fulfilling prophecy for sure. It's good to know about myself.
How does that make you feel?
Problematic, yes, but good to know. Guys, I think I just realized I'm the villain. Okay.
I'm a monster!
One thing I really like about this movie is the animation style. I feel like Disney and Pixar both really love the 50s style aesthetic. And you can really see that in this movie. Another movie that they're really big on that in is The Incredibles. And I love the style. I love the cowlicks. I love like the greaser look that Wilbur has, or the outfit that is almost like a poodle skirt that Fanny wears as she's older, you know? But I just love that style. I don't know. It's just really cool to me. Anyways.
I feel pretty.
The ending. Guys, the ending of this movie makes me feel so many feels, and it makes me cry every time. Like, literally, I don't think I've ever watched this and haven't cried at the end. And that's very rare for me. Like, I'll cry 1 or 2 times watching something I've seen before, but every time. What I love so much about this movie is Wilbur gets Lewis to go back to the science fair by the end. He goes back. He fixes his machine, turns it on, it runs, and then he realizes that the people who adopt him are right there.
Bud?
They're right there. And I'm such a nerd, but it makes me so happy because, like, you don't know how close you are. You know what I mean? This is why I love this story so much, is you don't know how close you are to your goals or to what you want. And it's so easy to give up. It's so easy. And like, as we've seen, Lewis tries so hard to be himself and still be accepted, and it blows up and he's almost killed a guy.
Here, let me help you get that off!
You know, just by being himself. Like, being himself has huge repercussions, honestly. Goob misses the winning catch. That guy's allergic to peanut butter. There are so many things that happen because Lewis is himself. And it gets to a point where it's like, being myself seems to do more harm than good. So it would make sense to not be myself anymore and just give up. And going there and realizing his family is right there kills me every time. And then the family is exactly who he needs to flourish. You know, it shows the importance of like being around people who are important to you, who get you. It's so, oh my gosh, because sometimes we just don't want to be alone. So we're just around people, but we don't realize sometimes those people hold us back because they don't let us be ourselves. You know what I mean? So, the ending makes me cry.
It's so good.
The ending makes me cry every time. Because he gets his home, and then you find out later that that's the home that his whole family's in later. So he gets to stay in the home he grows up in. And it just like, oh my gosh. This is why we're called animated discussions. I always start slow, but then when you get me passionate about something, I freak out. It's so good, guys. This movie is adorable. It's so adorable. If you ever just want to watch something fun and silly, the comedy is insane. There's a T-Rex they have to fight with meatballs. Like, you know, I love this. I love this silly. I just love it. Anyways. So that's Meet the Robinsons. As you can see, this channel is going to be weird and chaotic and a whole bunch of other things. I appreciate you joining me as I'm learning how to make videos, trying to figure this out, realizing what I actually want to learn from each movie. But this was just like a warm-up. I wanted to see if I can get used to making a channel, you know? See if I can get it. I think I've got it. We'll see. I'll rewatch this and probably grimace the whole time. But thanks for joining me. See ya.
Bye-bye now. Bye. Bye-bye.
Oh my gosh, you guys are terrifying. It's so hard making this channel. I'm gonna be so straight with you guys. I'm really excited to do this channel, but it's so scary. I don't like being perceived, as mentioned when we talked about Goob. It's just a scary thing for me. But it's been a fun journey. So Hope you like it.